Wow. My name is Sharon. I'm an addict. I am truly, truly, truly grateful to be here. I've been very emotional, very emotional. I got some medical stuff going on, and I'm going to have a surgery real soon, and they put me in pre-menopause in order for fibroids that I have to shrink. So I'm very emotional. I'm very afraid because I don't know about anybody else, but I still have a fear of letting go absolutely. And I struggle with that. You know, I want to thank the women that are here from the greater Sand Hill area. Where y'all at? Where y'all at? Where y'all at? I love you, Wanda. These women, right, they met a little girl almost 15 years ago in 3 days, and I'm fucking counting. Because no matter what, I'm not going to use. And I'm one of them addicts, right? I came to the program as a direct result of seeing a sign on a store window that said, if you have a problem with drugs, we can help. See, I'm that addict that didn't go to detox. I didn't go to a treatment center. And through the grace of God, I never ended up in prison. But I have been condemned in my own mind, locked up. I think that's the worst incarceration for me. I don't know. I've never been to a prison. But these women, right, and like I said, I've been really, really emotional, and I don't know really if it's the because I get these hot flashes that come out of nowhere, and I'm here to tell you. And if you see me go through this little sweat heat thing, this thing is no joke. No joke. These women, right, they met me, and last night I had to say, right, let me say this before I even go there. Because I've been so through this process, through this healing process, and I recognize the day that I've been through a healing process, because the speaker last night set me up with some stuff that was like, okay, who's going to set the tone? I don't want to be responsible. Like, I don't want to be, like, I don't know where I'm at. Like, I'm confused right now. And the speaker left me undoubtedly in the right place. She talked about how her God is big as the ocean, right? And I remembered this morning, but see, I'm that addict that likes to fix, manage, and control everything. And I do this shit unconsciously sometimes. And sometimes I just wait and see what God wants me to do. Because I've learned through this process that God is in control. I only have an illusion of it from time to time. And that time to time gets me into a lot of trouble. So the speaker, because see, when I got here, and I still remain today very open-minded, no matter what you think. No matter how loud I get, because I'm loud. Because my God is big. So the speaker, right? I go down to the ocean, right? Because I'm open-minded. And soon as I get to, you know how you walk through all that sand and stuff? As soon as I could see the ocean, I had this flood of emotion. And it just flowed out of me, right? And my sponsee was with me, and she was trying to talk to me a little bit because I've been back and forth and up and down. And, I've been on a roller coaster ride these last 2 nights. And I get there, and I'm walking because I got to separate from her because I gotta get in his presence. And I'm walking because I know I'm supposed to be there because the speaker set me up for it last night. And they playing this song, y'all. Now, when you ever went to the damn beach and they was playing anything with any kind of semblance of anything spiritual, and the song said, I already know. I already know all about it. And I'm flooding. And I'm looking at the waves and they just crashing in. And I'm looking at how big my God is because I can look way back there and still don't see the end of it. And I get this feeling that I've identified as the presence of the God of my understanding working in my life. So I'm still emotional and I'm just walking because I want to tell y'all the truth. I really wanted to run that motherfucker. I wanted to take off and just run. I wanted to jump. I wanted to shout. I wanted to clap. I wanted to praise. I wanted to just let God know that I know that he already knows. But I suffer with this illusion, right? And I believe that, like, I know some shit. I ain't been here 15 years and don't know no shit. I already did some work up in here. I know I have. But how many of us know today that there's still more work to be done? So I thank the women, right, from the Greater Sand Hill area for showing up here today. Because the God of my understanding knew that I needed you. See, I needed to walk back into the presence of women who love me unconditionally. See, I came in during a time when we didn't injure each other as much as we injuring each other today. We doing some, we causing pain. Let me tell you, I know that the God of my understanding is in control because, see, I was all shook up and I was all shook out because he knew that he had to give me the words to speak. I had to listen and follow directions. Y'all taught me that when I first arrived here. And y'all made it so that I was willing to do it. I didn't feel like I was being judged. When I called the Durham and talked to my sister, I didn't think my sister was gathering information. I didn't think I had no reason to hide who I am because y'all told me I can be anybody I wanted to be, but as soon as I showed up, see, I'm that addict that showed up, right? I'm that little girl that showed up hurt. And y'all created an environment for me to begin the healing process. And y'all gave me a love that was unconditional. And I never want to forget it. No matter what I've been through in this process or this stage of healing that I'm currently in. See, I know that when I hit bottom, right? Because how many of y'all know about hitting bottom right here? How many of y'all know about having a sponsor who got a sponsor who got a sponsor, you got sponsees, and you hit a bottom? March 6, 2009 is when I entered into this process. I lost my job. My father died the next day. I had a fire in my kitchen. I had a bright idea to get my family to come and do the repairs. But let me let you know that I had some motive behind that. Because I saw where I can pay them a little bit and I can get a whole lot. I fell out with my mother. The relationship that I had been in for 5 years, he stole all the money from the home group and left. And I was left holding the bag. Because of my inability, or my unwillingness, I ain't going to say my inability, my unwillingness to, you know how you drive in your car and you hit a bump and you go boom and you just keep right on going. And you don't even get out and see if you still, all you know is that the tire's still on it because you're riding. But you don't know the damage that's been done and you haven't even got out the car to look. Because y'all told me to show up for life, my thinking, no matter what, just show up. Hit a bump, keep going. Hit a bump, keep going. Don't you know at some point it's going to come to a halt, a screeching halt? Because my sponsor always tells me that in this process we have to learn to feel, deal, and heal. So I hit these bumps and I kept going. And I busied myself. Anybody busy? Busied myself with service. Busied myself with sponsees. Busied myself at work. I busied myself to keep from looking at myself. But it was the only way that I could deal with what I was going through at that time. Because the sister just said it, sometimes denial make you flip it over a little bit so you can just be able to tolerate it, to make it to the next drop. I lost my job and I had to look at the fact that like in that atmosphere, right, I showed up and the people were impressed with me. They was impressed with my abilities to do some stuff that I know that God only gave me the ability to do. They promoted me within 90 days from one thing to another. Now, our literature talks about that we have to be careful when we trend into ego-inflating situations. Because the step process is an ego-deflating process. But now I'm operating over here, and I got it. Because, see, they paying me more money than I ever made before. And the job I left the last time, they almost doubled my salary. Now, you know I thought I had it going on. You know I thought I had it going on. So I started showing up at them people's jobs trying to tell them what the fuck to do. And I told them what I wasn't going to accept. That's some funny shit. That's funny. And after they demoted me, and they came up with something real nice to say, but they couldn't take the money from me, so I was all right with it. But see, once you promote me into management, you still got to give me that management salary no matter where you demote me to. So you needed me to work on this team, but you still had to pay me the money. So I was all right with it. So I continued on in my insanity. Now the new supervisor can't supervise me. She can't. First of all, she just got out of school. And I have to tell you, ladies, after after this time of being in this process, like hitting campuses here and there, hit and miss, accumulate some there. And the thing that kept me from returning to school was the fact that I believed that they were going to take all the credits that I had accumulated over the last 10, 12 years. And they did. And I had to start all over. And I just made the dean's list last semester. Yeah. Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop. As a direct result of what I learned here. Show up, suit up, and keep coming back. And I did that. I'll graduate the end of May with an associate degree. And it's a start, right? I put in my application for the university, and this is and I ain't trying to offend nobody, because I'm telling you, like, God has given me an opportunity to go back and get some pieces of myself. See, I don't know if you know that sometimes you got to go back in order to go forward. So he's given me an opportunity. That's why I believe all y'all here today. That's why I believe that all of y'all are here, so that I can get an opportunity to go back to the unconditionalness of the women in this process. Because we got some women in this process that'll hurt you. And don't be confused about that. Please don't. You got some women that haven't reached that spiritual part yet. And I don't want to talk about them. Because of the stuff that y'all gave me, right, I took on this armor. And I know I'm jumping all around, up and down, but I'm going to get where I need to get. Because you gave it to me, I heard that the only way I can keep it is to give it away. I learned that from day one. So I took on this assignment to be the person, the representative, to make those who were uncomfortable here comfortable. And the ones comfortable, I make some very uncomfortable. And I used to like that. Until some of them comfortable folks jump sides. And some of them I loved. And some of them I trusted. And my sponsee sister sent me a text just yesterday that said, some of the people that you'll take a bullet for are the ones holding the trigger. I'm talking about the sister you show up for in the middle of the night and help her get through her pain of her relationship. As soon as you start to go through, they talk about you. You know she got 14 years. She should be somewhere else by now. I can't believe that she's going through that. Oh, that ain't never happened to nobody in here but me. Shit. Yeah, right. That's how I felt. That's how I felt. That's where God took me to. And see, I understand you got to be careful who you suffer with around here. Because some people think you're suffering around here because of something you did. They don't know that it's something being done to you. See, God had to take me back so I can get the little girl, the one that showed up here almost 15 years ago. Because see, as a direct result, I still live the same way. I was in relationships that did not work. See, See, at some point, and I'm going to tell you about it as I broke this relationship with my mother, right? I love my mother. A part of me hitting the bottom. See, my father was an alcoholic, and he was always unavailable to me. I was used to that. That wasn't no big deal, I thought. Until I started working with a bunch of men in the men's prison, and I hit a bottom at the prison, and I recognized that it wasn't my mother I was mad at, it was my father that I was actually mad at. And I started doing some work because y'all taught me how to do some work. Like it didn't matter if I had good parents. It wouldn't have mattered. With the disease of addiction, I would never have been satisfied no matter who my parents were. Because I suffer from a disease that never gets satisfied. Ain't got enough money, ain't got enough sex, ain't got enough food. And I need to share this weight loss thing with y'all too. A sister feel better than she ever felt before in her life. When I hit the bottom at 14 years, right, and I'm going to tell y'all how I hit the bottom because I have to share this too because I'm being honest, right? As a direct result of some stuff that had gone on, I showed up at my home group meeting and I was locked and loaded and I was ready to go. I was cock deuce and I was talking real low because I wanted some shit to jump off. I wanted anybody in the room to tell me whatever you needed to tell me in that moment because I was ready to snap, crackle, and pop. I called my sponsor on the phone and she says, well, what part of the atmosphere were you maintaining? I said, didn't she just hear me? I told her what the fuck they been doing up here in Wellness. I ain't sponsoring them, I'm sponsoring you. And the sister last night said it. It's about putting principles before my personality. It ain't important what principle you working. We used to say that back in the day, keep the focus on you. When you point your finger at one person, you got 3 pointing back at you. I don't know where the hell that shit went, but but it brought up the shame again. And it brought up the guilt. And it brought up the remorse. And I felt like I had done a disservice to a program that has saved my life. I started to feel like I no longer belonged in the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous. Because for some odd reason, that old thinking about the God of my understanding came back to me. That because I did A, this is the result. See, it wasn't important about what you thought my suffering was about. It was about what I thought my suffering was about. And see, because I had functioned under that mentality for years, damn, he's louder than me. I reverted back to my sickest behavior. I reverted back to my sickest way of thinking. And I'm talking about without the dope. See, I recognize that we suffer from a disease, and I'm so grateful for the program of Narcotics Anonymous and only Narcotics Anonymous that talks about this thing in terms of an addiction. And it doesn't say anything about a specific drug. It says that drugs or alcohol is too limited of a term for us. We suffer with a disease called addiction. It affects my life in all areas of my life. And it don't, like the dope is always the don't pick up no matter what. You know what I'm saying? But it's about changing those old ideas and them old attitudes and them old sick-ass behaviors. See, we have to start learning how to love one another. Again, unconditionally. Like my struggle that I'm going through right now, you need to be watching because next week you may be. And my sister said something to me outside that I I know to be true. I know it to be true. But I'm talking about when you have to go through a process and feel the process. Because you can't heal what you can't feel. And sometimes you got to go back in order to go forward. So my mom came down with the crew to fix my house. And she was going to rob me looking at me without a gun. I'm going to give you 3 times what we agreed to. And because her boyfriend did the work, right? And this is how we fell out. And in the moment that me and my mom fell out, the little girl, because she took me back. She took me back to a place where she used to tell me, shut up, go sit down. What you say don't mean nothing. You ain't paying no bills in here. That's not important. But that day she was standing in my house. And I had been doing some work on me. And I kindly and politely asked my mother to leave my house before I called the police. I come from a family, right, that we love each other. And if you tried to mess with us or one of us, we're going to be there to support. And we ready to fight, we ready to cut, we ready to do whatever. But we're not willing to show each other love. Like somebody was talking about this weekend, not being able to communicate. Well, I come from a family where it can be a big black, white, blue, orange elephant in the room, but nobody say anything about it. And like I told you, my mother didn't care about how you felt. She didn't care about how you felt. What she said went. And that's how I learned to measure my inside by what she said I look like on the outside. Like my dad, my father's family, they wear their emotions on their sleeve. They cowards. They just weak people. So I learned to take my feelings and not express them because to do so would make me weak. And I talk loud and I stand tall and I'm proud of the woman that I am today. But I'm trying to tell you that I drugged the little girl up in here. I drugged the little girl up in here and she had to learn, she had to just fucking grow up, period. And God has given me everything from that day until this day for me to grow up and be the woman that I am today. I came in here, and I'm proud of your relationship and your marriage and all, but I came in here with a person that I had met in active addiction. And these are just like some of the things that I've grown up in this process, right? And our relationship was very abusive towards the end of my addiction. He was one of those people that'll show up and drag you out the crack house like this. Nobody ain't never had one of them, huh? Where the crack people wouldn't even open the door because everybody's been there. No, this crazy motherfucker is on the prowl. Sharon, I don't know what you're going to do, but you're going to have to leave here. What kind of shit is that? And I share this because at the end, right, I remember being out all night, and I remember going on my way home and seeing him and picked him up, and me and my girlfriend was, riding together, and he had a soda can in his hand, and when he got in the back seat of my car, he took the soda can and he busted on the back of my head. And I just kept driving the car. I told you about you hit a bump, you just keep on going. And I got to my house, and I was very embarrassed because he had done it in front of people. And I remember him commencing to just beating me, punching me in the head, kicking me when I was down. But I had a piece of dope in my hand, right? And I wouldn't let it go. And he beat me bad. And when he left my house with blood coming from my mouth, I remember taking a hit. And I remember believing that I deserved that. So I went on this mission to convince him that I was worthy of love. See, I did that all my life. That's the little girl that showed up in here. I always had to convince other people that I am worthy of love. And I'll set myself up in some situations that will demonstrate that I'm not love worthy. You know, like that self-fulfilling prophecy type thing. You get in a relationship with somebody and you know they're using, and you get in a relationship with them anyway because you only want to prove that you're right. See, I knew I wasn't worthy. See, I knew nobody was going to love me. See, I set myself up with those things time and time again. So I went on this mission to convince him that I was worthy of love, and it took me 10 years to get out of the relationship. I'm talking about after going through all the abuse, I became the abusive one. I had flashbacks, and I would take something I didn't give a... I was coming to believe that I was worth more. I just didn't know how to act it out no other way but to get physical. And a lot of y'all, you know, the women in the greater Sand Hill area knew me at that time. And we showed up, and we looked good together. And we was the model. He got clean too. He got clean. But the thing, and they made him the area chair. They made him the area chair. And I had the biggest resentment about it. Because now he done showed up on my turf. I wanted him to get clean. I did. I wanted him to enjoy the freedom of this process. I did. Y'all didn't know that after every area meeting that I had to go home and fight with him about the benefits of being in the program of Narcotics Anonymous. And he was the area chair. So that means that y'all nominated his ass in. Why didn't y'all know? Why didn't y'all know? He on my turn fooling my folks. And we, because he can speak well. He was intelligent. He read the fucking book one day, one time. And he had all the information that he needed. I'm telling you that we have to know how to identify the disease when it comes here and speaks up. I didn't know why y'all didn't know that. I mean, that bothered me. That made me not trust y'all. Y'all didn't know. I got my ass whooped a many a nights because I love the program of Narcotics Anonymous. I had to fight every week because I love the program of Narcotics Anonymous. Now let me tell y'all how sick it really got, right? I don't know how much time I got, but I gotta let it go. Because we are in this society of men and women for whom drugs have become a major problem, We tend to get in your business, right? And what we don't know, we'll make it up as we go along, but it's okay. But if I can get a little bit of information, see, I'm recognizing that people show up just to get information. Not that really help you, just to know what's going on. So I had a division right here. I had people who was on his side and people that was on my side. And sometimes they flip back and forth. I'm only sharing it because that hurt me. And I need to say that. But I'm telling you, as a direct result of working some steps around here, I was able to forgive some people in the program of Narcotics Anonymous. I was able to let go enough. So Doug T., God bless his soul, told me one day, Sharon, because I went to a dark place. I didn't want to come. Sometimes my feet took me to meetings and I don't even know how I got there because I didn't want to be here. But my feet knew to take me there. Have you ever been in a situation where you can't come to a meeting and share? Oh, yeah. I'm telling y'all my process here, that no matter what, I keep coming back. No matter what you say, they say, and God is going to take care of me. Because in the third step, it talks about God would take care of my spiritual needs. So why am I always going in there trying to fix, manage, and control it? All I have to do is let go and let God in this process. It don't mean I like it. I keep coming back, y'all. And I have a life today better than I ever had before. See, because today you can't get that. If you put your hands on me today, you're going to get 911 called on your ass. If I don't kill you, depending on where I am spiritually. I'm not guaranteed to show up around here spiritual. So you need to be careful and recognize when the disease is all over people around here, you still running your mouth and don't even know you in danger. Because you walking around. Because you walking around trusting this process. See, you trust that it's some people in here working some principles that you're not. And you trust in that, although I'm going to say some flaky shit, she might not bust my ass. Because she might be working a program. You ever been working the program so good that the person you know that was just talking about you outside the room, they come in the room and you can hug them and say, yeah. Keep coming. Keep coming. And watch God work in me. See, I always wanted, we have to be a living example of the basic text around here. And sometimes it's just merely sitting down and holding your peace. Because I can be just as sick as you. Don't get it twisted. We all up in here sick. And if you ain't careful, you're going to run up on one that ain't. And it's going to be sad. Because now you got to act like you working some principles of humility when you really just got your ass beat. Girl, I guess I just have to practice some humility on that one. Yeah, baby, well, you keep coming because you might get there, but right now you just got your ass beat. You know how we do? We put principles on some bullshit and say we just applied something. Like, I know I've been talking about you and you got wind of me talking about you, so you beat me to the meeting and start talking about this honesty that you're applying. But for real, you just trying to cover your ass because you know I'm about to bust that ass. Y'all, I'm going to keep coming, and I don't mean to offend nobody around here. I just needed to get free so that I can walk away from this convention and be okay with me. Because the God of my understanding is doing a mighty work in me. He got to clean up some stuff in me, Terry. He's still cleaning me up. Because I know I've done some work around here, but I also know that it's a lot of work for me to do. I don't believe in, I'm going to leave that alone, y'all. I'm tired. I'm free. I'm good. I mean, come on now. 5 minutes might kill me. I tell you 5 minutes of this relation, because you would think after I left that one abusive relationship that would have been it. But see, I'm that one that you got to really show me what you're working with. You know how we show up and we say, you need to leave a newcomer alone. If you mess with the newcomer, it's just like going to the morgue. We used to say that. I don't know if they say that anymore. Used to go to, that's like going to the morgue and screwing somebody on the slab. If you're messing with the newcomer, you know I used to say that. Until my newcomer came. When my newcomer came, I got a different perspective of what new was. And you know they always saying like we need to protect the newcomers, but for real, somebody need to protect us against them motherfuckers. I'm here to tell you. Could you imagine somebody drugging you without any kind of concept of a principle? I suffered. But it was the best suffering I ever suffered in my life. She getting a big damn kick out of me. Because I suffered so good that I bet you I keep my... How much time you say you got? Y'all ain't got to tell me to leave the newcomer alone no more. I can guarantee you that one. I can put money on that one. What? Y'all, I'm going to tell y'all this because I called my mother the other day, and I thank my mother. I thank my mother for giving me some tools that I did not recognize. See, because I had a moment of clarity. Because when my mother was telling me about wearing my feelings on my sleeve and you just like them people, she was really telling me to suit up and show up for life. Don't allow people or what they think about you to make you feel anything. And if you feel anything, you better get up on your feet and you better shake it off and you better keep moving. My mother was trying to give me that lesson that I just got today. And I called my mother and I told my mother that I love her. I told my mother I love her, not in spite of what she told me, but because of what she told me. You understand what I'm saying? I love my mother. Me and my mother done been through a lot together. But this was the first opportunity that I ever got to tell my mother, I love you. Y'all taught me that. I didn't come from that. I fumbled telling my mother that I loved her. But I recognized that it was my first time of many, many times to come. I'm a grateful recovering addict. My name is Sharon. I'm going to keep coming back no matter what. I'm going to suit up. I'm going to show up, and I'm going to be here no matter what. No matter what. I love you too. I really do love you Wow. My name is Sharon. I'm an addict. I am truly, truly, truly grateful to be here. I've been very emotional, very emotional. I got some medical stuff going on, and I'm going to have a surgery real soon, and they put me in pre-menopause in order for fibroids that I have to shrink. So I'm very emotional. I'm very afraid because I don't know about anybody else, but I still have a fear of letting go absolutely. And I struggle with that. You know, I want to thank the women that are here from the greater Sand Hill area. Where y'all at? Where y'all at? Where y'all at? I love you, Wanda. These women, right, they met a little girl